WhyGuru, 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 WhyGuru.
Guru Gobind Rai. So, as we said, Maharaj is born in 1666. 9 years old, they become the Guru Gaddi, and Jyoti Jyot in 1708, and they're 42 years old at this time. So they make the Khalsa Panth when I think they're 31 or 33. They make the Khalsa Panth. So, as I said, they're the cousin of Guru Har Rai, youngest in that generation of grandsons of Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. They're the youngest. Okay. Prakash is in Patna in Bihar, far end of India. Now, what happens when they're born is a very interesting story. Shows you who they are and were they divisive or anything. There's a Sufi Peer, famous Peer Bikhan Shah. He's not just some random person, he was a big guy. Yeah? In that area, he was very important. Now, Peer Bikhan Shah, lots of followers. One day, you know how they bow down in namaz towards the east, yeah? Pacham. So not Pacham, they bow down towards the east from India, so west from India. What he does is, instead of bowing down towards the west, he turns around and bows down towards the east. Now, not cuss Islam that, they didn't know that the world was round. Yeah, but the point is, everybody's like, whoa, what's happening here? Because on the day of Guru Gobind Singh Ji's birth, he saw the light had come down. And he said, now, today, God is in that direction. Yeah. And he bowed down. And Peer Bikhan Shah didn't just bow down then, he went on a mission. He goes, I'm going to go and see this light who's come down, this Peer Paigambar. The future of the earth has come down. I want to go and ask him a question. He wants to go and meet this person. Now, we hear about these wise men for Jesus. This is our one, Peer Bikhan Shah. He goes on a journey to go and find. And with his power, he can find. He goes and he travels all the way from where he is, in probably around Punjab area, or Pakistan area. He travels all the way to Bihar. Takes him months. He gets finally to Patna Shahar. In Patna Shahar, he goes up. He's bedraggled, traveling for months and months, trying to get here. With his powers worked out where Guru Gobind Rai is born, the baby. Maharaj is only a couple of months old at this time. And he comes up to Mata Gujri, and he says, I want to meet your son. Now you can imagine, Mata Gujri, yeah, and Bibi Nanaki, they were like, what? This guy comes up to our house, your son, I want to see your son. He says, no, I know who he is. He is, I want to meet him. I have a question to ask him. Now, who asks a question of a little baby? Yeah? But when he comes to meet, so they let him meet. And before he comes to meet Guru Gobind Rai, he comes and he goes to a Muslim shop and he buys some sweets, mithai. Because he would give mithai to a child. But then he goes to a Hindu shop and he buys some mithai as well. And he comes over to the little baby and he doesn't ask many questions. He goes, I'm not going to talk. He puts down the two bowls of sweets in front of Maharaj. And inside he's saying, which one will you prefer? If you are the light of God upon this earth, if you are the future, which religion are you going to prefer? He wants to know that. Great question, isn't it? The best way to ask a child. At this age, Maharaj, as a little baby, puts his hand on top of both at the same time. They'll be equal to me, Maharaj say. I'm not going to be discriminating between the two. Now I'll give you a clue in this. Look at the names of the Sahibzade. Ajit and Jujar. These are Indian names, isn't it? Then look at Zorawar and Fateh, Persian names. Just even their sons' names. Yeah, they're not discriminating. Look at Jab Sahib. Jab Sahib has got a Persian and Sanskrit and Braj and everything mixed into one. There's no ke husnul zama hai. All these words that come up. Afal gunah hai, the forgiver of the sins. Gunegar, that word gunah. That's the Persian word. Maharaj does not discriminate. Manas ki jaat sab ek pehchanabo. There's only one human race. As Ravi Singh was saying. That's the way Maharaj was as well. Now, Guru Sahib is always their father is always away preaching. Couple of little stories of their childhood. They were a little bit naughty. Yeah, they liked to practice archery, but in that time when they were little, it wasn't archery. It was like slingshot, nishani. And one thing they used to do is an interesting story, but they used to hit the water pots that people used to carry, and then it would soak the person underneath. But once you parta on their head, then obviously they just get soaked. So a lot of the women used to complain, and especially to not just Bibi Mata Gujri, their mother, but also to Mata Nanaki, their grandmother, their dadi. Look, your grandson's done again. He's smashed all our pots. So Mataji got really annoyed with this behavior but she knew that he's still going to carry on. So then they cursed. Look at the bachan. She's the wife of Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj. Yeah, she curses the well. She says, "Jira khu hai na, khattai rahe. The water is sour in that. No one goes to that well." And that's exactly what happens in that. That well turns sour, and no one goes there for water anymore, and that solves that problem. Yeah. So, just to show you that, when we say Karam Khand ki Bani Jor, that the power of the people that get to Karam Khand, of that level of action, that level of grace, their words have power, their bachan. When they say something, it has power and it will happen. Now, obviously, Guru Gobind Rai, as a 9-year-old, has actually volunteered their own father for Shahidi. Yeah? And they send these 500 Sikhs. I told you this story. Maharaj says, I will make my Sikhs stand out. This is when they were 9 years old. And obviously, when they're 33, they make that bachan come real. Yeah? Karam Khand ki Bani Jor. The bachan was there, but the panth wasn't ready for that time. So they waited. Okay? Now, when they were young, it was all about training for them. So they trained in martial arts, poetry, music, education, different religions, texts. So they were an expert. Like, we have this idea of a millennium man. Somebody who can do this, everything else. Maharaj, this is the idea of the Khalsa. We should be able to do kirtan, should be able to do poetry. All the other things that we're supposed to be able to do. It's part of our nature, it's part of our culture. It's all built in. And there's a story, okay, that this person came to see them, and they were in Ponta Sahib. They lived in this Pahadi Gurdwara called Ponta Sahib. Now, when they're there, near the river next to Ponta Sahib, I think it's the Godavari, it's very noisy, and normally in the mountains, very noisy. In the poets at that time, they had 52 poets there. They said, Maharaj, it's too noisy, this river. It's really hard to concentrate here, all the time. There's constant drone in the background. Maharaj says to the river, Tu shant ho ja. Be quiet. Now that river goes quiet. A mile up from Ponta Sahib, it's noisy. A mile down, it's noisy. But over there, it's very quiet to this day. Yeah, 5 days. Now we might be thinking, but if you go there, you see, I've been there as well. It's just, you can't hear the river there. Chup chap out there. Yeah. And that's still now. I told you about, I haven't told you the story. One of the battles where Guru Gobind Singh Ji fought, where we read that Shabad, Jabe Ban Lagyo, Tabe Ros Chagyo. Well, Maharaj was shot by an arrow. We'll talk about this in a little while. The tree that is there, that where they were shot, where they were standing, every leaf on that tree has a hole in it. You go to that tree, I've been to that tree, every single leaf has a hole. It remembers Guru Gobind Singh Ji was here. Underneath my shade, Guru Gobind Singh Ji was hurt. And for that, every single leaf has a hole in it. So he remembers. Now Maharaj, at that time, one very rich person comes to Guruji with this, alchemy store. Like the philosopher's stone. If you touch anything, it will turn to gold. And he brings it to Maharaj, thinking Maharaj is going to be so happy. I gave him this amazing thing. He comes. Now, some people say jewel. Some people say it was this, what we call in Punjabi, forgotten the word for it now for some reason. Anybody want to help me? What's the word for the philosopher's stone? Gur Paras. Yeah, Gur Paras Hamlo. So Guru is a Paras. We are the iron. When we touch him, we become gold. Yeah. So the Paras, he brings a Paras or he brings a jewel, gives it to Guru Sahib, expecting to get blessed by Maharaj, trying to buy Guru Sahib's blessings. Maharaj looks at this stone and just flings it just behind his head, just thanks very much, and throws it away. Maharaj, they throw the stone away or the jewel away. So Maharaj says, if you want it, go and get it. To Lala, go and get it. So he rushes off to go and find this. When he gets there, excuse me, when Maharaj has thrown this, he sees bigger jewels, much bigger jewels than the ones that he gave to Maharaj. Nicer, better jewels just lying there. Or if it's philosopher's stones, bigger ones. And now he realizes that who is he trying to impress? He's the King of Kings here. It's God's light upon earth. He doesn't need anything from us. When we go to our Guru, sometimes we think if I get him this, he'll be very impressed. We take from him all the time. De da de, de da de. He gives. E bi da teri da. Everything is a gift from him. Who are we to start giving to our Guru? We have to just give back 10%. He gives us 100%. We give back 10%. And we think, wow, pat me on the back. I gave 5% or 2%. Yeah? 10% is just the minimum we have to give. That's just a give back of what we've been given. But people start thinking it's their wealth. And chup down on them. It hurts them to give 10% back. And all these charities we've got like Khalsa Aid, etc. They're going around begging from people. But the Gurdwara, they're raking it in. Yeah? South of Gurdwara, 250 grand a month. Chadawa. Yeah? How much could Khalsa Aid do with 250 grand a month? 2.4 million a year. See? Why? It's full of us lot going to Gurdwara paying £1,000 for a wedding, isn't it? Every weekend. Couple of Vyah, Sukhmani Sai Part. Why are we trying to buy our Guru? Lena dena, We feel that unless we put money into the Gurdwara and got that receipt, took it home that said we gave £1,000. Now there's a person suing South of Gurdwara. If you go to Park Avenue, there's a notice from a solicitors from a person who said that you promised you would put our name plaque up in the Gurdwara, right? And then when the committee changed, you took the name plaque down. We gave X amount of money for that name plaque to be up there. So that's a breach of your trust. We want our money back. Now you might say, well, that person is totally wrong. But you might question the person who sold them that in the first place. Kiki, what was that Lena Dena that we put your name plaque up and you're going to give us 35 grand? What are you doing? You're ruining that seva. That's not seva at all. It's not seva, that's an advertising band. What you done is ruin that person's, kamai or whatever. They could have got something for it had they not had any calm, but you're giving them that calm. So this is the sick month now. Anyway, Maharaj showed this person that there's nothing you can give me. I already have everything. All you can do is come to me and beg. The highest gift. Now 52 poets are employed by Guru Sahib in Paonta Sahib. So it's not like now where we have there's very few poets. There's no if somebody was an amazing poet in those days, the kings would sponsor them. I'll look after your rozi roti. I'll give you some money, and then you just sit here and do poetry or translations. Now, if you're an expert in languages, but you're a Sikh, you end up studying somewhere else. You won't become an expert in translating Guru Granth Sahib Ji into French. Might be people in our Panth that are experts in French, people that are experts in German. But where are the books in Sikhi in German? Where are the books about Sikhi in French? They're not there. Because we're not sponsoring this stuff to happen, isn't it? We're just letting them do something else with their lives rather than do what we need them to do. And a lot of translations were made. A lot of famous Indian texts were translated into Gurmukhi or into Punjabi so people could read it. Like a very famous book out there is I always forget the name, I never want to think about it. It's like not Balupadesi, but it's like a book about clevernesses. But it's like a kid's stories. You tell the kids to make them aware of how they can be duped and people can cheat them and stuff. Yeah, very famous book. If I remember it, I'll put it up. I'll get Raj to email it around. 2 parts, Jab Sahib and Akal Usat are composed in Paonta Sahib when they're only 16 years old. Now Jab Sahib we read every day. It make Amrit today. Maharaj made it when they were 16. So don't get any impression that people weren't reading Dasam Bani. People were reading Dasam Bani way before Amrit. Yeah. People knew they were having that as a nickname. Jab Sahib was part of a nickname. Akal Ustat Sahib is where the Svayye come from. Sravagusud Samusadhan ke. Yeah? And Dinan ke Svayye, they come from Akal Ustat as well. Those are Svayye that people read every morning. So that's the Akal Ustat is part of Panjabani, Amrit Banis. They make, that's Akal Ustat. There's a story about Akal Ustat I want to just tell you, yeah? Because some of these things you don't get in it when you just pick up a part, the concept. Now, Savaiya was twice Maharaj read that Savaiya out as an answer to someone, as advice. Once the Savaiya was read twice to a Raja. One was the person who was going to become the enemy. The first battle was against this Raja Jai Singh. It was given to him to learn from. Yeah? But he didn't learn. And another king came to him. If you want to find out about that, when you put the Katha of Savaiya, you'll get the whole story. But also, in Akal Ustat, there's a section where Maharaj says, Tu hi, 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 tu hi. They just keep on going. They say, Jale Hari, Thale Hari, yeah? Ure Hari. They say, you are here, you are there, this you is you, is you. And they go, it's just you. Everything is you. It's just you. You. Tu hi, tu hi, tu hi. And that is an exact word that's used by Guru Nanak Dev Ji as well. Ik tu hi, ik tu hi. Comes up loads of times in Gurbani as well. Yeah, in Ard Granth Sahib. Now, Bhai Mani Singh, Bhai Mani Ji, was writing a Akal Ustat, yeah? They would be the scribe. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji was in their samadhi and they'd be reading it out. Remember, it's like revelation, isn't it? So Maharaj is reading this out and they start saying, Tu hi, tu hi, tu hi, tu hi. Bhai Mani Singh is writing it down. Maharaj just goes off, Tu hi, 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 tu hi. Maharaj keeps on saying it, but Mani Singh keeps on writing it. When Maharaj finally stops, they say, Bhai Mani Singh, Kinni bari likhya? How many times did you write this down? Bhai Mani Singh says, Maharaj, 16,000 times I wrote Tu hi, tu hi. Maharaj says, Bhai Mani Singh, we can't just take that 16,000 and put it in 16 times only. And whichever Sikh reads this 16 will get the whole benefit of my saying it for 16,000 times. Yeah? That's the power of Bani. It's condensed. It's like we buy squash, you couldn't drink it straight. Yeah? You couldn't. But if you did have it, it'd be strong, wouldn't it? Yeah? Bani is like that. Some Bani is condensed. It's condensed like power of God. That's why it's so powerful. And actually, Sukhmani Sahib is meant to be one of those parts as well. Sukhmani Sahib's got 24 sections. It says if you read those 24 sections once a day, that's equivalent to you doing 1 day of job of Simran. So if you read it every day, that means you'll be doing Simran the whole day. Because 24 hours, 24 Ashpadiyan. So the part is like that. Part is condensed power. Yeah. So now they do get involved in battles. The first battle is against Raja Jai Singh. And Jai Singh, he sees the presence that Guru Gobind Singh Ji has. They have a white elephant. They have like this beautiful chandni. The elephant can do Chaur Sahib seva. This is a trained elephant. He can actually wave the whisk over Guru Sahib. And he wants it. And Maharaj says no. And with his hankar, he feels that he has to fight. So in the end, it leads to a battle. The battle of Bangani with the Hill Rajas. That's where Maharaj writes about that battle. It's not just a shabad. There's a whole story of that battle written down. Yeah? And what happens in it. And finally, he strikes Maharaj in the stomach on the Kamar Kasa. And he says to him, have a go. Maharaj has a go. And they strike him. And Maharaj, then a little bit of blood comes out. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji then fires. And he goes, now you've hit me. I'll let you have 2 shots. Now you've hit me. But you didn't kill me. Now it's my turn. And Maharaj then kills him with the arrow. But it's got gold on it. Now Guru Gobind Singh's arrow has got gold in it. That's the compassion they have. I read to you earlier that if somebody's injured, they can use that gold to get fixed. If they mortal wound, then they can use that for the cremation or the burial. Now they also write a lot of Bir Ras Bani. I want you to understand this word Bir Ras because it comes up and people don't understand what that means. Ras is emotion. Yeah? It's like juice, but it's condensed emotion, feeling. Yeah? Bir is warrior, like Veer. You might have having a Satabis there, look. Yeah? The truth, warrior of the truth. So, Bir means warrior. So the warrior is warrior emotion, warrior feeling. And if you read these parts, you will feel powerful. Yeah? Like Sukhmani Sahib gives you a lot of shanti. Yeah? Chandi Diwar is like the opposite end of that. It doesn't make you angry. It doesn't make you walk around like that. But you wake up. Yeah? You wake up and you're sort of ready for battle. If someone was to come to do something to you, you're not going to sit there and say, Hanji koi ja, hit me again, go ahead. It's not turn the other cheek kind of stuff. It's like wake up time, ready for war. So this is what was needed because the Sikhs had become a bit too soft. Now if somebody pushed them over, or somebody tripped them up, or somebody robbed them, or somebody, they would just say, oh, well, it was the God's will. Oh, well, we can't do anything about it. But Maharaj didn't want these, people like that. They wanted them to stand up and do something because their time had come. So previously, the average Sikh would be like that, soft, and the Akal Sena would be strong. But now Maharaj wanted all the Sikhs to come strong. So they started writing Dasam Bani, which is like Biras Bani. Chandi Diwar is one thing, yeah? Now Chandi Diwar is an interesting story. If you want to find out more about it, there's a katha of the concept Chandi Diwar on our channel. It's in the playlist called Not Just the Basics. Yeah? Because it isn't just the basics, yeah? The basics you start off with Naam, but sometimes you talk about the stuff that's not just the basics, so it's in there. It's an epic battle story actually. And the hero of the battle is Durga or Chandi. Yeah? Now, why is Durga the hero? Because the the demons, they beat up the gods all the time. And the gods turn to this Devi for help. And she's very beautiful in her Durga form. Very nice, and she fights. But at one point, when it gets really bad, out of her matha comes out her alter ego, demonic one, Kalima, with a tongue and the blood, yeah, who's thirsty for blood. So she's got a double-sided thing. She's not just a Devi, she's got this other edge. And that's what the Sikh was supposed to be like, So have this kind of spiritual side, but when things get bad, out comes the demon in battle that destroys all of his enemies, or her enemies. Yeah? What, they have the picture of it, or they have the... Oh, they're not Hindu houses? Yeah, well, that's probably why, isn't it? No, sorry, there was a question in there. No. Yeah, because she destroys the demons. So it's probably why, isn't it? It's like warding off the evil eye of the demons. Durga fights the demons. Yeah, that's what she does. She doesn't fight the Devi. Deva come to him and ask, help me. Like Indra is painted as the king of the gods, but he's come across as a bit weak. He comes and asks her for help. Please help me, He comes to her and he goes, all the demons have kicked me out of my house now, and will you mind helping me? And she laughs. Durga bands on the hasi har harai. She goes, khub khub ke hasti hai, ha ha ha, Indra, you got kicked out of your house. She goes, Skalo, I'll do something. She gets ready. But she's invincible in battle. Like she fights. The battle is multi-phase. So first she comes across one enemy. She destroys him. Indra gets back onto his kingdom. Then these other two people come up, Sumb and Nisumb, and they come and they kick the demons out. Then they come to her again. She comes back into battle. Then they send people against her. Yeah, Chand or Mund, they come. She kills them. Then they send some other guy. She kills him. They're like, whoa. Even these big demons who were like warriors who kicked even Indra out, she's even killing them. Then they send this guy in, yeah, son of the Bij. He's like this guy who's got a gift from his previous bhakti, that every time his blood spills, more of him come up. He can't be killed in that way. He's invincible. Every time she cuts him with her sword and he's chopped into pieces, all of his blood regrows as more. So the more she kills, the more there is of him. And she's surrounded on all sides by this. Then at that time, then she's Chan Chitari Kalaka. And Kalaka then, she thinks about Chandi. And from her matha, Chandi comes out, going Fateh. She goes, basically she comes out like, she comes out. She opens her mouth, and she just swallows all his forms in one go. Yeah? She swallows, she's surrounded, and she just chews him all up, and not even one drop hits the ground. So you can see it's like a proper her alter ego is some sort of softie, She just goes for it. And Maharaj is telling us to read it almost every day. And they say, stand up and read it. Yeah? So it's a very powerful part. You should try listen to it someday. I haven't got all of Durga part memorized, but the one bit that you know from Chandi Diwar is this. Yeah? Ik Onkar, Sri WhyGuru Ji ki Fateh, Sri Bhagavati Ji Sahai, Var Sri Bhagavati Ji ki Padshahi Dasmi. Recognize it? Pratham Bhagavati Simr ke Guru Nanak Lai Tyai. That's Chandi Diwar. That's the first verse of Chandi Diwar. And it comes to Teg Bahadur Simriye, Karanone de Ave Tai, Sabathai Hoi Sahai. And then it doesn't go to Guru Gobind Singh Ji then. Because Guru Gobind Singh Ji wrote it. Why would he put his own name in it? You never say, remember me in that sense. They don't speak, Gurus never speak that way. They always speak about their previous ones. Yeah, of course they wrote it. No one else could have written it. We have to say, Va Sri Bhagavati Ji ki Padshahi Dasmi. You can't do Ardas without saying Padshahi Dasmi, by the way. Yeah? And the next bit is, Paudi Khanda Prathame Sajke. First, God, you made the Khanda, double-edged, the power of you. Double-edged power. Yeah? The protector and the destroyer. Khanda Prathame Sajke, Jin Sab Sa Rupaya. Brahma Bisan Mehe Saj. Kudrata Kher Rachaya Banaya. Sindh Parvat Bedani. Bin Thamma Gagan Rahaya. Sirje Dano Devte. Tin Andar Bad Rachaya. You made the demons and you made the gods. Between them, you created anger. Then, Tahi Durga Sajke Daita Danas Karaya. Then you made Durga and destroyed the demons. This is not worshipping Durga, this part. Just understand that. It's saying you made Indra, Vishnu, Mahesh, and you made Durga. And you made the fire and you destroyed it. So it's all about God. And I'll go through it just to get to the last line. Teto hi Balram le nalbana de sarkaya. Teto hi bal kisan le kans kesi pakad giraya. From you, Ram took power. From you, Krishna took power. Yeah? So from you. Bade bade mun devte kini jag kai jag tini tantaya kini tera antana paya. No one got to your end. So it's all about WhyGuru. It's not about her. It's about WhyGuru and the power of WhyGuru. So people tell you, oh, Guru Sahib is praising Durga. Read the part. It's not. Now this, just to give you an idea, because it's hard to, Chandi Diwar is, you have to know the story. But this is just to give you a feeling of something from part. Yeah? This is Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Bani that people read in Arti Arta. If you don't know what that is, we're going to put it up in a couple of days. But this is what it sounds like. Just for you to understand, like, it's not just the words and the story. The way it's written is very powerful. It's written in a warrior way. It wakes you up. Now I'll read this out to you. Yeah? Tribhangi Chand, Sri Kalji ki Ustat. Yeah? Khag khand behandang khaltal khandang atran mandang barpandang bujdand akhandang tej prachandang jot amandang bhan prabhang sukh santa karnang durmat danan kilbik harnan asarnang jai jai jagkaran sist ubar mam pratpalan jai tegam. Sounds amazing, isn't it? Yeah? Fills you up. Guru Gobind Singh Ji wrote that to make us feel that power. Yeah? And it's every day people say this, they memorize it. When they want to go on a horse, you could imagine the singers riding and singing this out loud. Now people are singing it. Kaga khanda behandanga khaldala khandang. That's not the way it's meant to be read. Yeah? It's meant to be read this way. Like people say now, De Shiva Baram. But it's like this. De Shiva Barmo hai shub karmante kabhuna taron. It's meant to be read in that way, yeah? It's got that power. You can sing it nicely if you want to, but it's got that power just underneath the edge. Like Chaupai Sahib, yeah? Hamri karo haat tera cha puran hoy chit ki ichha. It's got power again in there. And look at what the translation is now. You just heard the words. Look at the translation. The sword hacks and breaks into pieces and fragments the hordes of the fools. This weapon adorns the battlefield. Its long, forceful arm is unbreakable. Its splendor overshadows the luster of the sun. It looks after the welfare of the saints and pulverizes the wicked. It destroys the sins, and I seek its refuge. Hail, hail to the creator of the world, the savior of the creation. My sword, hail thee. Jai Tegam. Teg Bahadur. I hail the sword. Yeah? It's an ode to the sword. And that's what Sri Bhagavati Ji means. It means a var, ode to the sword. Because Bhagavati means sword. In the Chandi Diwar it says, Ki Lei Bhagavati Durgasha. That Durga picked up the Bhagavati. So she didn't pick up herself. she picked up the sword. It's an ode to the sword. Now, just a quick recap now, yeah? From Guru, we've got to the beginning. Now, we're not going to talk about the Amrit ceremony yet. Next week, we're going to go through what is a Khalsa. In the next session, what is a Khalsa? What is the idea behind it? How was Amrit made? You know, what did Guruji do? All those things we talk about, like basically for me, Khalsa, what's the concept of the Khalsa? Because this is such an important part. Like when we meet each other, we say, WhyGuru ka Khalsa, WhyGuru ki Fateh. So we have to know what that means. What is a Khalsa? Because sometimes we get a bit lost. We don't even know what it means. Hai? It's just like, oh, it's those turban-bearded Sikhs. They're the Khalsa. No, it's more than that. It's a philosophy. We have to understand what it means. Yeah. But just to recap, so from Guru Har Rai to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, then Guru Gobind Rai, why was one become a Sikh? Firstly, same thing. The Gurus remain inspirational leaders. They are true kings, Sache Padshah. They have the Gurbani is so beautiful. People can feel that one. They can feel the Kalu, so they can feel, Chopi Sahib. They can feel Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's Bani. Slok Mananoma. People read that every day. It's beautiful. And they can see, look, there's power in this Bani. It's not just nothing, it's power in there. And they see the system is very revolutionary. The ethics are so amazing. Women are in Guruji's battle, in the army. What they're doing, very advanced caste equality, sexual equality. And it's a complete system. They've got their own, we talked about cities, their own places to pray, holidays. The part is coming from Guru Sahib. The language is there. The lineage is there. When I say lineage, I mean like lineage, like people like Bhai Mani Singh, whose dad had been in Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. People had become Sikhs over many generations. Bhai Mardana's family was still around, by the way. Just so you don't, Baba Buddha Ji's, family is still there. Sorry, I don't know if they had any children. But Guru Angad Dev Ji's son, his ancestor is Baba Binod Ji. So even the Guru's family is still around. Guru Angad Dev Ji's family is still involved in Sikhi. There's a lineage of the Sikhs coming down many, many generations. And we've got our own culture, our own musicians, mantras, our own preachers. And the fact that actually all of this worked, when Sikhs went to Guru Sahib trying to get enlightened, they did get enlightened. Maharaj was able to bless them to experience Naam. Now, just so you haven't been here before, Sikhi is about this thing, that we've got this spot at the top of our head. It's about experiencing the divine while we're alive. It's like being an iPhone, but on airplane mode, not functioning at full capability. Yeah? We have that power, all of us. As we're human, we got Dasam Dwar. That's it. So if we're not connecting to God, if we're not feeling this up here, tingle and feel the bliss of God, we're working below capability. And now our parents don't talk about this enough. So we have to bang on about it. But this is what Sikhi is about. Sikhi is about experiencing God. Straight. If you read Bani and you're not feeling the power, something's wrong. Whether it's you or your actions or your internal, something is wrong because you're meant to feel the power of that Bani. Because the Bani's got that power. It's like a radio which is not receiving. Something's wrong with that radio because waves are going out all the time. Kirpa is flowing. There's something wrong with us. I remember Paisa was talking to me over the break and he was saying he met someone who said, there's no such thing as saying WhyGuru. You don't need to say WhyGuru. And he said to him, well, nothing happened to me when I took Amrit in 1969. 30 odd years this person, 40 odd years now, isn't it? We're wandering around, not feeling the Naam. So he's saying, don't bother. Now he was bitter because he didn't feel it. But there's something wrong with him, innit? He's not doing it. Maybe he's got so much hankar, he can't give himself up. That's what's holding him back. So we should all, Maharaj says, Bande, khol dil, khoj dil, har roj. Daily, look in your heart and work out what's wrong. Why is it not working for me? There shouldn't be a reason why this shouldn't work for me. There shouldn't be a reason. There must be a reason. Let me fix it. Let me give myself to my Guru. Let me follow his path. Let me take the ego out of the way. That's what's staying between me and God. If you look MEGOD, in between is ego. Yeah? So that's what's keeping you away from God. Take the ego out of the way. Yeah? MD. So the point is, get rid of the ego. And if we don't do that path, we won't feel the Naam. We won't feel the Naam. Because Maharaj says, we said this in the second week, when we talked about what is Naam, what is a concept. Maharaj says, Home naave naal viruddha hai, doina vase ek thai. Naam and ego are opposed to each other. They can't both be in the same place. Either you have connection, so it makes sense, Naam is connection. Either you're connected or you're self-focused. When you're connected to God, you can't be focused upon because God is so great. It's like being in the sun and saying, oh, there's darkness. You can't deny the sun when you're in it. So either you're connected to God or you're not. When you're in Naam. Now we could all say WhyGuru, doesn't mean we're all going to feel God. 10 log is WhyGuru keh rahe hain, 2 or 3 are in Naam, the rest of them are not in Naam. The rest of them are in their own head. They're self-absorbed. They're not God-absorbed. So Naam is that what we're trying to do. So this worked. Maharaj Kirpa worked. And obviously Guru Arjan Dev Shahidi was a powerful example for people. Then Guru Tegh Bahadurji Shahidi was a powerful example, yeah? And the Gurus, how they were, very benevolent rulers, the Akal Takht, how they lived, Sikhs saw that Guru Sahib cares about us, they love us. Guru Har Rai we just talked about now. And that they had this, like there's people out there in the world, they want to be this. They want to do something worthwhile. I remember reading about the Spanish Revolution, in this country. Did you hear about the Spanish Revolution ever? 1930s. It was the biggest volunteer army ever raised in that time. People from this country, 15, 16, 20-year-olds, were leaving this country to go and fight against the fascists of Franco in Spain. Why? Ideal. The idea of freedom and away from fascism. Yeah? People like that, those righteous warriors, they joined up with Maharaj. They go, now we found a leader worthy of following. You can follow him, and he is, he is that person that will lead us. People are always looking for some kind of leader, and they found them in Maharaj. And they built this warrior mentality we just talked about. And not just simply by the actions, but they actually nurtured people with their Bani as well. And the question is, look, did Sikhi change with Guru Gobind Singh Ji? What's Guru Gobind Singh Ji done apart from, 1699, we're going to talk about that next time. But up to this point, what has Guruji done that's different from Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji? Nothing. Nothing different. Yeah? But yet, people don't question Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. They read their Bani very happily when they read their sloks, Melanova, and they go, oh, it's so amazing, Peka, Huko, Detana, Nepa, Manat An. Don't give fear to anybody. Don't be scared yourself. You're a Jnani. And yet, they question Guru, they question their son, they don't question their father. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, to be Guru, had to have got it from Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. You can't deny Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji and then accept Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. Yeah, you can't. If you accept Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, what's the difference between them and Guru Gobind Singh Ji? Same actions. So we have to examine ourselves, see whether we're pick and choosing what we like about Sikhi, or whether actually it makes no logical sense what we're doing. Because that's what it came down to me. I looked at myself and I said, logically, none of this, I can't deny this. So either it's up to me to choose to follow it or not. But I can't give myself some fake excuse that I believe in the first 5 Gurus, I don't believe in the next 5. Because that didn't stand up to intellectual, to search. And that's why I talk about Bhai Mani Singh. Look, Lal Singh we talked about is a Sikh of Guru Har Krishan Sahib Ji. Yeah? Guruji, Bhai Mani Singh is a Sikh of Guru Har Rai. And then becomes, a Shaheed. He lives through Guru Gobind Singh Ji, Jyoti Jyot, and then taking care of the Khalsa, Akal Takht Jathedar, Harmandir Sahib head Granthi, and then he gets himself chopped into pieces. And he's there from Guru Har Rai Sahib. So people didn't doubt, those people there, they knew the Gurus were one light. And Nanak Guru Gobind Singh. That's what they say. A famous quote from that time, Nanak Guru Gobind Singh, Tad aage sees hamara hai. Oh Nanak Guru Gobind Singh, you're the same Nanak, my head is at your feet. And look, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji appointed Guru Gobind Singh, didn't they? So if you accept Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, he can't be wrong. He has to be perfect. So if he appoints his son as Guru, how can we doubt it? And the last bit then is the Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Who makes Guru Granth Sahib Ji Guru? How can we accept Guru Granth Sahib Ji, not accept Guru Gobind Singh Ji? And then finally, just a little thing for you guys. We'll talk about this more, not next one, which is about the Khalsa, but the one after that, when we talk about the history from 1699 onwards. But at one point, Guru Gobind Singh Ji sits down, but they didn't have the Aad Granth in front of them, and they wrote down the entire Aad Granth from memory. The entire Aad Granth from memory. Every single, like I said to you earlier, how many of us could write down Mool Mantar with the exact Ankar, Sehari, everything right? They write the whole Aad Granth from memory. And they put in then their Bani of their father. Yeah, Guru Tegh Bahadurji sloks and Jai Javanti Rag, those in there. This is 1705, less than 300 years ago. This is what happened, and that place is called Damdama Sahib, where they rested. We talked about it last week, didn't we? Damdama Sahib, yeah. With last time, the 40 Sikhs heard the katha. Most of them went off. They went alcohol to Lord. They were like, it's enough for me. I don't want to live here anymore. Yeah, but rest of them stayed. By Mani Singh, Baba Deep Singh. This is what happened in 1705. So, Sikhi did not change. For me, Sikhi doesn't change with Guru Gobind Singh Ji. It's just a continuation. All they do is they give the Gurgaddi. For me, next week we're going to talk about what is a Khalsa. I don't want to go into it, but for me, the Khalsa is the Guru. They devolve the Guruship to the 5 and the Granth. Spiritual leadership in the Granth, physical leadership in the Khalsa.
WhyGuru, WhyGuru.